How's it going, mate?
Oh, great. How are you, Danny?
I'm pretty good. Just going over this stuff. I don't know. Being a white personality, I'm just got my paper all in front of me, and chances are I'll be like, I won't even look at it.
Doesn't matter.
You know, you do that, you do all that rehearsing, and it's like a theater, right? When you get into acting, you do all that rehearsing, and once you're on stage, what comes out, you go with. You know?
Right.
Or I'll be like, oh, gee, I should have said that, or but
Yeah,
you know.
but it is what it is, and it'll be all perfect.
Of course, that's what we gotta remember, and it's the universe that's controlling us anyway. So
Yeah, it's great. And it must be summer there.
it's July, obviously. We kind of had I guess back in early April, May, and whatnot. We sort of got a good hot spell and thought, oh, this would be great. And then the weather kind of got a little down and got some rain, and then it kind of just slowly turned its way around. And now we got, it's just like Kauai weather. It's been hitting the high 30s and almost the 40s, I think, the last couple of weeks.
Yeah.
And we got some rain there a couple of days ago. It cooled it down, but we're supposed to get some more heat coming up in another week or so. So
Yeah.
I'll take it. The winter's long and cold. So
Yes. Yeah, we got winter here at the moment. All right, fantastic, Danny. I'll step out of the way, and the boys will
Do the work.
do the work. So yeah, anyway, we've got Jackson here and Adam. Danny. Okay, boys.
yeah.
Hi, Danny. Thanks for joining us. Could you please tell us a little bit about yourself?
Actually, can we start that again? You're froze, Danny. We'll just start that again. You there? Can you hear us all right?
Yeah, I can still hear. I got my internet kind of craps out on me a couple of times, but
Okay.
hopefully we'll go slow and
Yeah.
not overload it.
Okay. Hi, Danny. Thanks for joining us. Could you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Sure. I live at home with my mother. She just turned 91 here this last Friday, and I her primary caregiver. I officially sort of work at a sawmill in the wintertime, and right now I'm in the summertime. I do odd jobs for cottagers, build docks. I don't do a lot of decks, but they're pretty much the same as docks. Cut grass, maybe whatever they need to, pretty much be of service to whatever little odd jobs come up. So, jack of all trades, master of none.
Could you please explain what the Master Key experience is to you?
I certainly can. Yeah, that's really a tough one in one sense because it's hard to explain from one person to another. But for me, I guess it's sort of like a full circle. You're coming back home. When we are young, even younger than the two of you, we're created. Our minds are open. We don't have any outside influence. We're constantly thinking. We're thinking for ourselves, and then we start school, and then it's girls dress this way, boys dress this way, and then we go for it. Got to have the ideal job, and before you know it, we're following what other people think we should be, like sheep follow shepherds. So the master key is sort of like a full circle where it comes around and you get to be that person that you were created to be. You find yourself, and it's just amazing. There's nothing like it. What else should I say? It's something that you have to experience for yourself to truly understand what the master key is, but it's definitely worth it.
Mm. Why did you do the Master Key experience?
Well, I did the master key. I kind of come across it in an odd way. I did it because it was the right time. We're all born with a hero, like to do the hero's journey, and we get the herald calls us. And many times throughout our life, we get the calling, but we don't answer it. We just kind of push it off. It's, you know, just an odd feeling or whatever it is, and it's that voice inside of you that's telling you that, you know, if you're driving down the highway, you need to turn this way and not that way. And so I had a couple of good friends. I was going through a bit of a rough time, and they kind of got me started into it through network marketing. And then it's just like I knew I was searching for something, but I just didn't know what, and it just blew me away.
What did you get out of the Master Key experience?
Oh, what I got out of the Master Key experience was the fact that I got to find myself. I got to find out what makes me tick, why it makes me tick, why do I do the things that I do. Because my core personality color is white, and my secondary is yellow. Two great colors. Everybody likes the white, yellow, white combination because they're just great people to be around. They seem to get along with everybody, and they have their strengths and they're called limitations. They're sort of like weaknesses, but they limit you to what you normally do, but you can work on them to make them better. And with a white, one of the limitations is they're masters of procrastination. And the yellows, I mean, their strength, they love to have fun. Meditation, they have fun with many different things. Something else will catch their eye, like, oh, that looks like fun. I'll go check that out for a minute. And before you know it, you got a whole bunch of stuff started and nothing finished. So you really have to, once you learn that, find that balance, and you learn how to, work with it and how to get yourself organized and work with your other colors in order to get you up and running at a more, I guess you could say, a successful speed, I guess, so you get things done without any effort at all. And I guess the other thing I got out of it too was the fact that I got to meet a lot of great people. The fact that there are people all over the world that I probably never would have ever met if it wasn't for the Master Keys. And the fact that through the Master Keys, it gives you the opportunity to learn how to do other things, the technical stuff that they teach you, digital stuff. And you get to improve all areas of your life. And it's just one grateful ride. It's just amazing.
And tell us, Danny, because you've been in it for a while, tell us about that.
Oh yeah, like I say, I kind of when I got into it, it was kind of funny because although a friend got me into network marketing, one of her friends sent me the link to Lazy Networker, and and I looked at that and I thought, Lazy Networker, they're telling me that networking takes a lot of work. You got to be diligent. You got to do the work. You got to make the phone calls. How can you have someone called the Lazy Networker? And then I thought to myself, well, if he's as lazy as I think he is, this should be simple for me. But it's not a fact of being the lazy networker as it is more being smart and doing the work. So it seems easy. But I got into it, and then I was watching the intro videos, and it just had something was calling. You're right back to that heroes. I'm not sure why, but I'd watch the videos. I'd laugh. I'd laugh. I thought Mark was a little bit nuts, but you know, it's more than that, and it's a wonderful way that Mark is. So as I got into it, it just kept pulling me in and pulling me in, and through the support of other members and people following my blogs, I kind of got to the point where they were saying, "Well, you should be a guide," because I was already helping people. You help yourself by helping others, and next thing I know, I'm a guide. I've been this will be my 5th year, and the guide it comes with an awful lot of rewards that you don't always see. So it is it oh, how can I put it? It fulfills your soul. It's just nothing like it.
Pretty cool. Yeah.
Was there a time in your life that led you to search for something like this?
Yes, there was. I didn't know it at the time, but in 2014, a place where I was working, I liked the work. It's just that it was a very stressful job. And coming near the end of, I was there like for 5 years, I think. And coming near the end and whatnot, I was at a friend's place, and I was just so worn out. And she said, something's got to be done here. And I knew for myself, I had to find something, because the way I was going right now, it was not going to be good. Then it's where she introduced me to network marketing, and it all went from there.
And you said you're going through a bit of a rough patch at one stage, Danny. Are you okay about sharing that with us?
Yeah, it's place. I was I was driving down the road and driving down the highway, fall asleep, going off the road, and I ended up pulling my back at one point. I was chair of a committee to raise funds for a green library, and I missed the ceremony, the opening ceremony, and it just the stress alone. I was coming home, I was snapping at my mother. I was not a pretty little boy to deal with, and I just knew that if I didn't do something quick, I wouldn't be here.
Mm. Yeah.
Is there something else really special in the Master Key experience that you'd like to share with us?
I believe so. I mean, as a guide, and you're going through, you get different members every year. And I think one of the best things for me that I've had a couple of years ago, I had one member who, through her DMP and getting it right, she had a desire. She had it in her DMP that she wanted to go to a specific spot. She had a specific spiritual leader that she followed, and he had passed away a number of years back. But on his 15th anniversary, she wanted to be there, but unfortunately, the retreat was already booked up, so she couldn't go. She had wrote a book of poems that she wanted to dedicate to him. So she had a friend that was going to take him. And one of the things I was doing at that time for my members, I was, through their DMP and what they were wanting, whether it would be a vehicle, an RV, or whatever it was, I'd find a picture of that. I kind of had it on a little business card magnet and faded out in the background. And then on the front of it, I had, all the readings that we had to do. We read OGs 3 times a day and stuff like that. it's something she could put up in her fridge that would give subby that reminder, like, oh yeah, I got to do that. And I went and I asked her because she spoke of a brightness tower. So I asked her, I sent a picture and said, is this the tower that you're talking about? And she said, no. And she sent me the picture of the tower. And so I went ahead and I put that on the card. But at the time when I sent her that picture, it got her mind thinking about that place, wanting to be there. And because through the universe, I just was sort of like just part of the path, got her to think about that. Within 2 days, she got a phone call that there was a cancellation at the retreat, and if she wanted to go, and of course she did. And so she actually she took as much as her homework as she could with her, because she was doing the master keys at the time, but internet was kind of unstable. But just knowing that if I hadn't have done that, she may not have got the call. And that just shows the power of thought, and where people come together, like-minded people, and they do this mastermind, 2 or more people with the same specific goal, and they work together for that. So I mean, that's one of the best things that I had come out. And I had another member, I believe it was, I think it was a couple of years ago too, who in her DMP wanted to build a 150-room home for an orphanage in Uganda. She was already sort of working with the pastor there, but they don't always own the land there. And I would say probably about 2/3 of the way through the course and working with her, they ended up buying the land. They got the license that they needed. They got the ministry name, whatnot. So it just goes to show that when you put your mind to it and think for positive stuff, and you follow the universe, nothing is impossible.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah. What's next, boys?
Have you done any other self-help courses before?
I can't say that I have. I'd probably come across a couple books, but I probably looked at that and just kind of thought, well, I probably wouldn't start it, or maybe maybe they figured that they're not real. That's the one thing the Master Keys also teaches too, is that if you're going to start something, follow it right to the end. Don't start it and quit. Whether the heavens fall or whatever happens, but follow it to the end. Because if you quit, you're creating the habit of failure, and none of us want to be a failure, right?
Yeah, it's a great point, isn't it? And could you do me a favour and just explain that comparison, what you just said, compared to like New Year's resolutions? Do you know what I mean?
I didn't quite catch that last part.
I guess I was just referring, and Mark has mentioned it as well, like, how we can make resolutions, New Year's resolutions.
Oh, yeah. Right. Yeah, because when people make resolutions, whether it's I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to get that room cleaned up, or whatever it is, in the moment of making that resolution, you're all gung ho, you're keyed right up. But then, a couple of days down the road, a week, then the old habits creep back in. You kind of like, oh, I don't have to do that today. I can do that tomorrow. It's a nice day. I'll go sit outside on the deck. and before you know it, you don't do it. And the fact that without a mastermind, if you want to say, okay, I'm going to lose weight, I'm going to use X number of pounds, you want to have somebody in your corner that's going to support you on that, because keeping yourself diligent to doing something is really hard. It's okay again? Yeah, it's probably my internet.
Yeah, it's okay.
It gives you a lot of editing to do.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm used to it. So, yeah.
I mean, I came outside where it's a little quieter and whatnot, away from the TV, so I'm probably a little farther away from my modem than I should be, maybe.
That's all right. So, yeah. So you're just saying that, yeah, the difference is with the guidance we have within the course compared to not having that, doing your own resolution on your own.
Yeah, it's yeah, what was I saying there?
That's okay.
That's all right.
Yeah, we can go on to the next one. That's all right. What are we up to, boys? So we're asking Danny about. Okay. Okay, it's a boy.
What would you say to someone who is thinking about doing the Master Key experience?
What I would say to them is just do it now. Don't wait. I mean, what are you waiting for? Time waits for no one. You know, it's just shit or get off the pot. You know, it's if you keep waiting for something that be the time to be right, it's just never going to be, because the time is only right now. You only have right now. As I said, yesterday is gone, never been. Tomorrow never comes. So you always have you live right in the moment, one day at a time. So do it.
Yeah. And
it's the hardest thing I've ever done, and it's the best thing I've ever done for me. And most people will tell you the same thing that have gone through it.
Yeah. What makes the Master Key so special? Looks like we've lost you again, Danny. Sit up. Can you please sit up, Jackson?
Okay.
Do you want pocket money for this?
No.
Okay, we've got you back now.
Yeah. Long way to Canada.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So we were saying, yeah, what makes the Master Key so special, do you think?
What makes a Master Key so special? It's the value. I mean, you can't buy a course, like Mark says. You can't buy a course for this. It's a pay it forward course. So the people that took the course last year paid it forward, so you can take it this year. I mean, the only requirement is that you do the same thing, and the members get the vote on that anyway. So maybe year to year, it could be different. But there's absolutely nothing like it. And the value that you get out of it, from all the extras that they have, the training, and the fact that you get a chance to have a better relationship in your life, whether it be with family or that special someone, or maybe even your boss, so you can get away from, or maybe make that stressful job not so stressful.
Yeah, and a better relationship with yourself.
Yeah, it does. Yeah, because it's funny, because for some people, if they're a blue color code, they have a tendency to beat themselves up pretty hard, And so so once they know that, I mean, I got 20% blue in me, so I do kick my butt every now and again. But once you know that, you can kind of give yourself a little bit of a break. You know, and just let the other colors come in and pat you on the back, and maybe reward you with something.
No.
We've lost you again.
Yeah, it's definitely. There we go.
Yeah, I think Adam's got
Okay.
You got a question, Adam?
Mm-hmm. Do you think the Master Key experience has changed you?
Oh, for sure. Absolutely. I am the type of person that I am. My personal pivotal needs is autonomy and recognition for creative expression. And with autonomy, you are self-governed. You don't answer to nobody. You just answer to yourself. So therefore, you do what you want when you want. And I find that a person like that can be a little selfish at times too. Like I've seen myself in the past. I'll get up, go into the kitchen to get something to eat or a snack and whatnot, and I wouldn't think about offering something to somebody else. I just go get it and come back, and my mother might look at me and says, "Well, where's mine?" So now, when I do that, I'm making it more of a habit of saying, "Would you like something? Would you like?" It also keeps one's opinions at check too. I mean, everybody has something. And I found when I took the master, always, like my father would go in town to get the mail, and mother would say, "Well, I'll see you tomorrow," because we get talking to somebody. So now that I watch my opinions, I'm home a lot quicker. I don't get wrapped up in all the unnecessary crap that's out there.
Yeah. Yeah.
How would you explain the guidance and help you received on the course?
The guidance, like I say, for me as a white, we pretty much go it alone. I mean, that's maybe one of our downsides, because we know the answers. We know we're right. It's like, I got this. I don't need to do that. But for me, knowing that my guide was always there, and we had tribe calls every 2 weeks, so I pretty much throw it across the room, which I did at one point, and just say, "That's it. I quit." Fortunately, I had enough common sense and training or upbringing to know that you don't go to bed angry. If you got something, sleep on it. Worry about it in the morning. And when I got up in the morning, picked up Og, went back to my reading as if nothing ever happened. But I feel that if it wasn't for the tribe calls, I probably would have quit. And my guide at that time, one comment that she made to me on one of my blog posts was that,
Can you
did
hear?
you lose any of that?
Oh, there's a lot of it. No. I'm wondering if we send you a few questions on polo and your answer. Would that be okay? Because
I'd probably be better off going back in the house where I'm closer to the server.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Would it take you long to go that move, or?
No. I just.
Yeah, it's just breaking up a fair bit.
Well, I was going to take I'll just leave my papers here. I'll just wing it.
Yeah.
I'll just wing it.
Oh, it's a pity. It was a nice setting out there.
It is, actually. There's my buddy.
Oh, there you go.
Let me get back in here. My office is like the typical office of a genius.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything's everywhere. Well, let's see how that goes.
That's good. Seems nice and clear. Yeah, fantastic. So, what was your last question, mate? Do you want to just repeat that?
Me.
Yeah.
The guidance, I believe.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Guidance.
Oh no, I said that. Yeah.
I think it's this one now.
Yep, it's that one.
Okay.
Was the course good value?
I'm sorry, I didn't pick up on that one.
We talked about that before, the value. That's okay. Yeah, we're just talking about, Adam said, was the course good value?
Oh yeah, I think I touched on that one sort of.
Yeah, you did already. So what's the next one, boys?
Jackson.
Do you see any positive things going on during COVID-19?
COVID-19. Well, you know, for a lot of people, I think it's affected them. Probably those more so than those in the master keys, because they can look at things differently and look at the positive side. For me, I think COVID is a blessing for me. However, whatever you believe, religiously, spiritually, or whatever. But I've been looking for a way of. I'm wanting to get out of the mill the sawmill that I work in. I've been there for 20 some odd years, and I'm at a point where I'm not enjoying it anymore. I come home really tired, and I'm just like, I need to do something. But you sort of still have the way you've been brought up. You still got that loyalty that when they call you back, you go back. You have to get through the winter. You know, you got to have the income there. The summers, you got more flexibility. So it's allowed me to be home, so I can take care of my mother more. It allows me to get that lovely deck done, and it gives me the time to work on my DMP to manifest my goals. You know, it's so, and being the white, the more I'm isolated, the better. I could go live up in the Antarctic. Well, maybe not the Antarctic, but I could maybe Alaska or whatnot. You know, I don't have to be around a lot of people. Maybe once in a while, maybe a coffee with a friend, but I'm what you would call an introvert. I like my own time. I like me time. My parents, when I was young, if I did something wrong, like most parents, they would say, "Go to your room." I loved that.
It wasn't.
Go to my room. That was not a punishment for me. The punishment was when my dad said, "Go here, sit on your bed, don't touch any of your toys."
No, I can't.
That was the punishment.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, I can relate to that.
Yeah.
Do you have anything else to add?
The only other thing I would like to add is the fact that I am grateful for the master keys. I am also grateful for Mark and Davine and all the staff, the guides, especially the members, because without them, we would not be what we are. And without new members that become guides like your dad, we would not be sitting here having this interview. So every year, there's new members, there's new ideas, there's new talent. So that is what I'd like to add.
It's great, Danny. And no doubt, because you've been in it for 5 years or something, and you would have seen it grow.
Yeah, this would be my 5th year as a guide. 6 years. I took the course in 2015. Became a guide in 2016.
And how have you seen it improve over that time?
I've seen many different changes. When I took the course, all the DMP submissions were done by email. And then when I became a guide, they were still doing it by email. So it means, all 26 6 weeks or how many submissions a member would put in, they had to reply within that same thread email, so you could look back and see what they said or see what changes you made, which kind of had to keep you organized because you could get lost in there someplace. And then, then they moved to the software. They moved to a program called Trello that we use to keep track of the guides or the members completing their assignments and where they were from week to week. And then we moved from that into the new software and the new DMP submission software. So it took a lot of work off of the guides, and it made it easier. And every year there's something new comes out, and just they're kind of tweaking it. And so before long, they'll like they say they want to get 30,000 members signed up this fall, or 3,000 members, and go to 30,000. But at some point there will be more than one Mark teaching in different languages around the world. So
That's pretty exciting.
it's coming quicker than we think.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah.
That's great. Would it be okay if we post this interview on our Facebook page and YouTube channel?
Absolutely. I'd be honored.
It's great, Danny. Hey, do you want to talk a little bit about your cycling and raising funds?
Oh yeah, give me a couple minutes and I'll go grab my jerseys I got sitting outside there.
Great.
Because you'll want to see those too.
Sure.
Right back.
And I'll tell you about the cycling he does and raising funds for cancer for kids, for sick kids. Okay.
Yeah, that quick run out there, I heard my headphones going off and breaking up, and
Oh yeah.
yeah, I need to update my modem system.
Okay.
But anyhow, that's another day. Yeah, there we go. Okay. So just hang those up there. Yeah, so you guys want to, or should I just start? You guys want to start this off, right?
Yeah.
What story about helping others do you have to tell us today?
About helping others. Well, last year I had something come across my Facebook page I didn't realize was going on for the last 4 years or so. It's called the Great Canadian Cycle Challenge. And it's where everybody signs up, they ride their bicycles X number of kilometers to raise money for sick kids and fight kids' cancer. And I procrastinated at it. And when I saw it, it took me a month before I actually said, do it. What am I waiting for? What's holding me back? Because the Great Canadian Cycle Challenge, which runs through, is an organization of sick kids run through them. They've got it set up that they do all the paperwork. You just submit your funds, or people can go in on your page, Facebook page, ride page, and they can donate right from there. So there's really not a lot of work unless you want to do some extra funding. And so I finally just said, hey, let's do it. I had a nephew who died of cancer at the age of 10. So I thought, well, I'll ride in honor of him. So I dug up my bike and I went ahead and I ended up having to find another bike because my bike was pretty old, needed a lot of work. So I ended up with a $20 bike that was a little small for me, and I ended up riding 370 kilometers, and I went for a goal of $2,500. Now, one of the cool things too, like I found that, I mean, when I look back at it, that this particular ride is a lot like the Master Keys. They got the support there, group for you. Everybody support themselves. We have our own Facebook ride page, that group page. So if you got any problems, you got any questions, you jot it out. There's somebody there to give you a hand, help you. What's the best pair of gloves to wear? You know, how do you go about this, or whatever. So I got myself signed up for that, and I thought, well, how am I gonna do? Because they basically started off with like a $200 or 200 kilometer ride goal. That's sort of what they put out there. But you can ride whatever you want because you're not in competition with anybody but yourself. You know. So they thought, well, 200 kilometers, and of course, being the white that I am, I calculated it all out from the Master Keys. Oh, that's just like 6 point some odd kilometers a day. I can do this over 30 days. This is a piece of cake, you know. So where I live in Canada, like I say, I live up in the sticks. So the two biggest towns, and they're not really called cities, they're more or less called towns, are at least a half-hour drive away. So it's like 32 kilometers in one way, 33 another. And no matter which direction I go from my house, I'm riding uphill. So there's a lot of hills to ride and whatnot. So when I went out for a ride, we do what we call the loop, or whatever area we want to kind of go around. I get 30, 40, 50 kilometers in a ride. So it didn't take long to get that up. So this year, I said, oh, I'm going to do it again. And unfortunately, one of my biggest supporters from last year passed away from cancer, prostate cancer. Talking to his wife, and because of COVID, I was debating whether I do it or not, because they closed all the public washrooms. So I mean, that's something you got to be prepared for. But finally, I decided, no, I'm doing it. Things have kind of let off a little bit. But this friend that sponsored me last year, he's also a model railroader. He was a member of our theater group, president of our curling club. He passed away, I would probably say, a month or two after the ride was over. So I decided I'm going to ride in his honor. So I was talking to his wife, and I was going to buy myself a new bike last fall, but never got around to it. So kind of like the universe is speaking to you here, but you're not paying attention, you know. So come spring, I can't get the new bike because all the stores are closed. So I got talking to my friend Doug's wife, Jill, and telling her, you know, this is the situation I'm at. This is what I'm thinking about. Do I do it or not? And the guy at the bike shop told me I need a 20-inch frame bike. I was riding an 18-inch frame. So she says, well, go out in the back shed and take a look at Doug's bike. Any use to you? Make use of it. So I went out, kind of hard and dark and whatnot, so I couldn't tell with the tape measure. That I'll take it home, put the tires up. And sure enough, it's a 20-inch frame bike. So I'm riding this year in Doug's honor on his bike, which is pretty cool.
That's great.
So, and one of the cool things about doing this ride, because it's a win-win situation, I mean, this is one of the shirts that I purchased, like for $30, so it's got the Signy on it. And then on the back, if you can see this. And then, you know, for $30, that one, last year's was an orange shirt that said 1 month, 1 goal, fight cancer. But if you ride, and if you raise $500, you get, like I got the 2019 jersey. So this year for $500 raised, I would get the 2020 jersey. And this was last year's jersey, which is kind of cool.
Yeah.
You know, it's got the pockets in here, so you look like you're a professional.
Reading.
And then when you hit the $500 or the $2,500 goal, they have what they call a superhero's jersey. I wanted to say a hero's journey there for a minute. And that jersey is designed by the kids, Insect Kids themselves. They come up with design. And last year, it was Superman, or Batman, I should say. So I got a little bit of cape on the back. And I haven't got this year's yet, but this year's superheroes jersey is Spider-Man, which is kind of cool.
Jackson likes Spider-Man.
And Batman.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, so I mean, like the Master Keys, you get a lot out of it. You got the support. It's a win-win situation, and if you're consistent with it, you might get yourself in shape too.
Yeah.
So. And if you're the type of person that wants some alone time, there's nothing like cycling down the road.
Yeah. Yeah, I like cycling too. I've been a bit slack and
Yeah.
wussy lately. Do you know what wussy means? A bit of a pussy. because because it's winter and it's cool and
right. I'll send you this afterwards, but I got a stats list they put out. But some of the cool things. Last year, the youngest rider was 4 years old.
Wow.
And I think she only went something like raised $300 or something like that. 3,000, I forget. And I'm just kind of scrolling through this. The oldest rider was 91. We had a guy, which I'm hoping this year I get to do a ride with. He works for Via Rail in Toronto. Zach Wells. He did 686 kilometers last year on his unicycle, and he raised over $10,000.
That's great.
Nice.
Yeah. One other person I'd like to mention too. One of the riders, Leslie. She's getting ready and whatnot. Mid-May, she got diagnosed with breast cancer. So she started her chemo in June, when the ride normally is in June. And she ended up, I forget where she is here, but she ended up riding and collecting over $3,000. And this year, she's had her treatment, passes all flying colors. So she's back out on the road. Last year, because of the chemo, she lost her hair. She kept the spirit up for everybody. She had her kids went ahead and painted her head in the colors of the ride. So every week it was a new paint job. So now her hair's back. So she's coloring her hair or something different. So, but bikers are a tough breed. Apparently, they take a lot of kicking and keep on ticking, so to speak.
Yeah. It's good.
But, yeah, what's one other cool fact? Oh yeah, the average ride distance was 19 kilometers. The collective kilometers ridden last year would lap the circumference of the Earth 63 times.
Great.
And there was riders recorded in 19 countries. So it's just, even though it's Canada, we had other riders that, well, we had Japan, Ukraine, South Africa, India, Mexico, the Netherlands. So yeah, there's a lot of cool facts in here. I'll send this to you. And
That would be really good, Danny. And would it be okay if we had a photo of Doug? Would that be okay? Would that be too much? Or?
Yeah, I got I'll send you my ride page. So I got a photo of Doug on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. And you know, just to link.
You're on my YouTube channel, and some of the train videos I got there.
Okay.
Doug is usually one of the ones that's operating the train. So.
All right. Okay. And has it got his name against that? I can see it.
Not on my YouTube. I haven't mentioned his name on the videos, but I got a little write up underneath his picture on my ride page. So I'll get that to you right after this.
That'd be great to put into the story, and maybe a picture of your mum, and yeah, it'd be really good.
Okay.
Yeah. Fantastic. Yeah.
Yeah, I think there's a couple pictures on Facebook there. I think I tagged you on too, of mother in there.
Okay.
I think.
All right.
If not, just let me know, because I know I did one for the kindness week when they're doing the hugs, and it got on the one on the video. I actually had my cat in a couple of those hug videos too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I'm looking forward to September again and going through it. It's really good.
Yeah, every year is different. You know, you're not, you know, you're kind of nervous until it starts, type of thing, because you don't know what the members you get are going to be like. You know, you just never know how that first reaction is going to be, and you know,
yeah.
And then once you get into it, it just smooths right out, and away you go.
Yeah, that's great. Really great to be part of.
Absolutely. Stuff every year. I get down to the last couple of weeks, and I'm like, am I going to be a guide next year? Do I want to be a guide next year? You know, and it could be just the fact that a lot of the times it gets really quiet, and you get members that just suddenly they're busy doing what they're doing, or they don't bother responding. You know, I had a lot this year that just never responded to me. You know, they were there, but they just did their thing. And then you get other ones that are always there. So every year is different.
Yeah. It's interesting. All right, fantastic, Danny. Thank you very much.
Yeah, if something doesn't.
Can I ask a question? Did you? Yeah, it's good, mate. Yeah.
Let me know if something didn't pan out, whatnot. We could always do it again, or whatever.
Sure. That'd be great. Might even just be able to do a voiceover or something. Yeah, we can work out something. No, it'd be good. Fantastic. Good to get to know you too, like this.
Yeah, thanks. You guys are great.
You're the one doing good work.
Yes, you are, Danny. You're doing fantastic, man.
Oh, thank you.
It's great. So, are you a tradesman?
You've been no, not really.
But you're handy with the tools and making.
Yeah, I'm sort of like the typical handyman. My dad was probably more of a tradesman in a sense, but he was a jack of all trades. But when he was growing up, the school back then was called tech school, so he learned the trades, and he could weld. There was nothing he couldn't do. You know, there was nothing he couldn't drive. but he just did what he did, and and help somebody else and build cottages, houses, whatever, and he just did what needed to be done, and I sort of picked up on some of that. So.
Yeah. Oh,
And
fantastic.
now with the internet, if you don't know how to do it, you can look it up.
That's right.
You know,
Yeah.
that's how one's supposed to do that.
Yeah. All right. Great stuff, Danny. Thanks very much for your time, and I'll put it together. And yeah, if you could send some bits and pieces through, that would be fantastic.
Sure, I'll get that stuff to you tonight. So
Great.
right after we hang up.
Good one. Thank you.
So yeah.
Bye.
Bye.